Thank you. Thank you so very much. In our language, that's Wuli-wuni. So when I say that a lot, that's what that means. I'm full of pride and gratefulness tonight. Kachi Wuli-wuni, Indiliwizi Maulian Bryant, Naganu JL Wanawapskig. Thank you so much. My name is Maulian Bryant, and I belong to the Penobscot Nation. My deepest gratitude to the board and the staff and everyone here tonight for extending this honor to me. I'm so deeply honored and humbled. Over my life, I've learned many lessons about what it means to stay focused on humanity when it feels like the world is crumbling around us because of the lack of it. As an Indigenous woman, as a Wabanaki person, as a mother, as someone who's been elected to office, as a caretaker of my own idea of what sacred truth should look and feel like, and as someone who stands on the shoulders of thousands of ancestors who didn't get to live the way I do. As this multitude of happy and sad things, I accept this tonight, and I want to share how I see hope and connection and love in this moment. The legacy of Gerda Haas is one that forces us to reflect on why and when certain parts of humanity are kept locked in the hearts and minds of those who inherited them, but also we need to reflect on the courage it takes to push those truths into the light of day. It is such a risk to place generational pain in a place where others could deny it, or judge it, or mock it, or reframe it and devil's advocate it, or even steal it and misappropriate it. But what are the possibilities if we push past that place and maybe other people can learn from us, relate to us, help us heal by accepting and validating us? People who have been oppressed, erased, pushed to the margins, and then made to feel like that's all their fault have a long, steady climb towards equity and healing. And truth is what gets us there. Sharing, teaching, engaging, collaborating, and seeing one another as the sacred beings we all are. That's how we manage this moment. That all sounds super easy and nice, and it's not. Remembering these connections, remembering love is the hardest thing when you feel wronged or shunned or disrespected or hated. I have in my bio that I value leading with love, and this isn't some feel-good catchphrase. This is to challenge myself, not to revert to digging in when I disagree with someone, or to feel like it isn't worth reaching understanding and common ground. With most people, we can get there. Sometimes it feels like walking over hot coals, but we can do it. I want to put a disclaimer on some of this, that sometimes the right thing to do is to care for the self and step back so that you have something to give to the movement and to one another. And oftentimes making that tough choice saves you for the valuable work ahead. We have to strike a balance in this work. In preparing for this evening, I thought about a way to tell a story that honors the path I've been able to take and someone who has helped me along the way. Wisdom affects and improves the world because we live it and share it. If we don't, wisdom dies with us. One of my favorite people in the world passed away on August 3rd of this year. My grandmother, Elizabeth Sophieson, was born July 13th, 1938, in a little house on Indian Island up on a hill. Her own mother was a teenager, and when she gave birth to my mother, Elizabeth was also a teenager. Because of a lot of life factors and illness, she grew up mostly away from her mother and was taken in by different Penobscot families and also a couple of orphanages. She married young and had 8 children. She wanted a big family, so she made one. She was a woman of strength and joy, but she also suffered greatly in her life, and she raised those children in a lot of uncertainty at times. After her first divorce, she lost my Aunt Rachel in a car accident. She identified her remains on a Tuesday and buried her child on a Friday. Elizabeth ran a housing improvement program for the Penobscot Nation, and over the years she was also elected to tribal council many times. She lived with our family for some time, and when she remarried, her and my grandfather Jack built a house on Toddy Pond. I would visit her at that house, I would visit her in the tribal office where she worked, and I would visit her anywhere I could get to her. Her hands, her smell, her laughter, her jokes, so many jokes. The beauty and the magic of her comforted and grounded me, and I'm so lost without it. Every day she would use her lunch break to walk around Indian Island. It makes a perfect sort of 2.5-mile circle. And if it was summer vacation, she would invite whatever grandchildren of hers were hanging around to walk this walk with her. At the end of her life, she had 23 grandchildren and 34 great-grandchildren. Yeah, I'm number 3. When she took her last breath in the early morning hours of August 3rd, at just over 87 years of life, she was surrounded by children and grandchildren, and we drummed and sang tribal songs of strength, peace, and freedom as we sent her warrior spirit to her ancestors. In the week that followed, our family came together to burn a sacred fire with our community, and we prayed and we sang and we laughed, we ate, we celebrated the love that she created that binds us together in her absence here on earth. I share about this connection because this loss is still very fresh for me, but I also do it because it speaks to a few important things that are relevant to why we are all here this evening. We all want to make this world better, and we can all embody pure ways to do that. Violence, hate, oppression, greed, and acts devoid of humanity ravage the world we're all trying to improve. And it's not a new thing. Throughout the history of humans, there's terror and horror acted out in large and small ways. For my people, the Wabanaki people, right here in our homelands, we were targeted for extermination by England and later the United States of America. In the earliest days of colonization, it was disease and warfare. In the 1700s, the government told the settlers to go hunt Wabanaki people and bring back our scalps as proof of our being killed, and they would be compensated very well for those scalps. This set the stage for the theft of land. After that, it was the theft of our children, taken from our homes, put into boarding schools run by the federal government, controlled, isolated, and abused, and kept away from our tribal nations. While Wabanaki people were enlisting to serve in foreign wars, they didn't have the right to vote in the state of Maine until 1967. To this day, the state of Maine continues to operate under and mostly refuse to amend a land claim settlement that restricts our access to our full rights as tribal nations. And this paternalism in this moment isn't just backwards and out of step with progress, it's an extension of those traumas of history. Our people are working so hard to heal from that while we are deep in the work of policy and social change. When the world feels heavy and frustrations creep up, and as you just heard, a lot of this is heavy for me at a lot of times, we can feel like we can't make sense of why people act the way they do, especially when they're in places of power, and we would think they'd want to protect people and care for them. I don't have all the answers for getting through all of it, but I do know that we can all find a space within us and go to that special place where we feel safe and seen and inspired and motivated and strong and nurtured. For me, and I don't think I realized this until this summer, it was those walks with my grandmother around Indian Island on her lunch breaks, witnessing the place that she was once a child, full of hope and questions, knowing we grew up around the same river and sat on the same patches of grass and rocks, listening to her talk about her life and her work and our family and all of her strong views on things. Not even knowing that decades later, I would hold her hand for the last time And the last word she'd say to me would be the last word she'd say when we parted ways after that walk. She'd squeeze my hand and she'd say, "Oh, I love you so much, my darling." Many of you have this place within you, and I hope you're thinking of it right now. That's my place, those walks. And if you can't think of it, I bet you are this place for somebody else. I hope right now you're all reminded of the capacity we all have to love and be loved, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. When we face love and grief, it's the price we pay for that big love, and it's worth it. I said love and I meant loss and grief. That's how much it's on my mind. That's what connects us all in our shared humanity and carries us through spaces where love is missing. And I've heard so much in the previous parts of the program about taking that hardship and that trauma and that pain and turning it into something better. And I think love for the future is what does that. And you're all a lasting legacy of so much of that transition that I've also felt in my life. I've gotten to do some great things so far, and I take none of it for granted, and I also don't really take credit for it. I've been given so much support and confidence from mentors, leaders, family, and friends. Many Wabanaki people before me have not been invited into the spaces I have. They haven't been given awards or celebrated. And instead of being resentful or critical, they lift me even higher. They guide me. They help me. Overcoming the worst parts of the human experience and the hatred and horrors we witness ourselves or carry with us is daunting, and it's a journey many of us are on. For the rest of my days, when doubt creeps in, or when the road seems too jagged or risky, I'll think back to those songs my family sung together in that small bedroom around a hospice bed, holding the creator of us all. She made sure we knew the words and how to sing them and the power they carried. She made sure we had each other. She made sure we would lead and take chances. She made sure we would honor all the hard things she lived through by facing our own hard things with the knowledge we could get through it because we have the lasting safety net and legacy of her love. We can pass down pain and trauma and hardship, but we can also pass down strength, resilience, joy, laughter, and light. We can get so bogged down in the darkness we connect around, but we can lift each other out of that. This time has brought so many realizations to me. A veil has been pierced between me and eternity because now both my grandmothers are not here. There were thousands of my grandmothers who guide us all. And when I'm there with them, looking after my own children and grandchildren, with all of the knowledge of creation, I know I'll once again hold their hands, hear their laughter, and feel their peace. I'm so very fortunate that part of my mission in life is to bring awareness to Wabanaki and Indigenous rights through education, policy, coalition building, the Wabanaki Alliance, which a few of you are connected to, and all of you can be, please. It's been such a great, impressive, inspiring movement to watch. Over the last 5 years, we've brought so many Mainers into this work, and I'm always so impressed when people step up and really care about something they don't have to, because it lifts all of us. All of this work plants seeds of hope and change that we so desperately need right now. So my goal this evening was to bring awareness to my own humanity and share it with you in friendship and kinship. I'm so very, truly honored to be receiving this, and I thank you all. So in honor of Lorraine Dana, Elizabeth Sockbeeson, and Mezindol Mabamnawak, all my relations, Kachiwaliwani, thank you.